What the hell were manufacturers thinking when they produced a piece of garbage like this where you can't use it without the remote? Useless without the remote. You'll see why in a minute. This is unbelievable, but this is from LG, so what do you expect? This is an LG LRA 850. This is I know, looks like a DVD player, but it's actually more than that. This is a DVD recorder. It'll record on DVD+RW-R, plus RW, and plus R. And you know, we shouldn't have had to have -R and plus R discs. Should have been just DVD+RW and DVD+R. There was no need for this plus, but that's because Sony wanted to have their own format. This unit was given to me, and this is how I received the unit. Just the bare unit itself. The problem being is that these units, if you don't have a remote control, they are kind of useless. I'll show you why. Like, why did they even bother? Yes, there's the power button. On the left side, there's a power button. But on the right, you've got a drawer open-close button, a play button, and a record button. Not even a stop button. So even if you were to put a blank disc into this and hit record, there's no way to stop it without the remote control. It's got to be one of the dumbest designs I have ever seen in my life. Like, this is something that Sony would have done. No, maybe even Sony wouldn't have been that stupid. Let's get a look inside this thing and see how it's built. As you can see, August 2007 is when this one was made, just before the transition to digital TV. Here we've got antenna input and antenna output, but I guarantee this does not have a channel 3 modulator in it. It's just going to be a loop through. So there is a tuner in this. Got coaxial audio out. You've got component video and audio, line input number 1, and video out on the back. And that's the only plugs other than the power on the back of the unit. So we'll see if I can make this thing work. First thing I gotta do is find a remote control that will control it. Fortunately, I do have probably one of the best universal remote controls that's ever been offered from any of the cable companies. And it's the oldest remote too. Oh, cool. This has got looks like a computer drive in here. Is that what we've got? Is it standard drive? It is not a standard drive. Thought it was going to be for a minute there, but this is not a standard computer drive. But it is all shielded. We might be able even to see that laser working. See this? You can see the laser down inside here. You can see the circuit board, so I'm sure the laser is probably going to be visible in this thing if I get it to go. Here's our tuner, our power supply. This is going to use just a standard power cord, which I certainly do have. And I'm thinking one of these remotes here probably will control it. This is programmed for my Blu-ray player, and it's also programmed for my TV and of course my cable box. And so I've got the Blu-ray on the DVD. The aux button probably could control this, because I can control multiple things with this unit. I've got the programming sheet for one of these remotes handy. I just wonder whether, if I look up LG, whether it's going to work. I wonder. Let's try the code for an LG VCR. Try 3238 and see whether that will work on this one. Okay, it took the code 3238. That's for an LG VCR, by the way. Not a DVD player. More on that later. There's a reason I did that. Because these things behave more like a VCR than they do a DVD player, as they've got recording capabilities. But let's just power this thing up first of all and see whether it will power up. So plug in the power. I've got it hooked up to my monitor, and we'll hook up a cable to it, to the antenna input. And let's see whether this thing will turn on the power. If I press the power button, will it turn on the power? It turns on the power. Oh, look at that. A shark. I filmed that down the California coast. Jaws. Durden, 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 durden. Yeah, he was sitting there for a while, just swimming in circles. This remote control, I can change the channel. Where is it here? Channel. See?
Of the campings.
My security cameras. This is feeding it on my analog cable, obviously. Interesting. The question is this thing actually going to work? I have a DVD+RW disc. Let's load it and see whether this thing will spin up and whether it will record. And will we be able to see any laser light blasting through the disc while it's recording? I bet if I took off this shield we'd see something. So we can definitely see the laser moving back and forth there. If I hit play, it's going to play stuff that's on the disc. There is stuff on this disc. And this remote actually works. It is actually very promising. If I press the exit key, I can go into the setup. I can scan the channels, look at what movies I've got on here, change the record mode to different speeds. XP, LP, SP, EP, MLP. These will be speeds. So 1, 2, 4, 6, and probably 8 hours of recording. It's in the SP speed right now. Auto chapter can be set to 5 minutes, 10 minutes, or none. I can finalize discs. There we go. Finalize and unfinalize the DVD+RW. Even change the label on it. Playback control. So it looks like I can get into all of the memory, or all the settings for the tuner, setting the clock. Looks like I can get into everything on here. So I'm just going to let this thing record for a bit. I put it in the XP, which is the best quality mode, although my coax doesn't appear to be that great. I'm seeing some sparklies on here from something. I guess my coax in here isn't the best on this channel. Looks like it's loose. Anyway, I'm going to let this thing record here. We can definitely see the laser blinking on and off as it's writing. So as this thing gets closer to the edge of the disc, we should see it. Like we're right on the very edge of that disc. And it should stop any second now on its own. Because it's like we're at the 59-minute. This thing should shut down. There we go. Writing information, it says. Recording file information, please wait. Okay, now, let me see if we'll finalize this disc. It says disk is full. Yeah, okay. You think? Well, let's see which button I gotta push here. There you go. Disk manager. Finalize disk. Do I want to finalize? Yes. So this should now finalize. It says it's going to take it 6 minutes to finalize the disk. It Is it going to write anything to the outside edge? I guess not. It didn't take 6 minutes. It's finalized. Nope, wait a minute. It came up with a picture on the screen, but now it's finalizing. There we go. Now it's on the edge of the disc. It says it's going to take it a couple of minutes, and we'll see what type of image this thing produces once it's finalized. Looks like this is going to produce little pictures instead of just a text representation. It looks like this particular player is going to give us a little, like a thumbnail of each of the recordings. But it's a neat recorder. Nevertheless, now that I've got a remote that I can actually utilize this thing, I might actually put this unit into service. It's always nice to have these machines. So there, it's now finalized. It said it was going to be 5 minutes, but as you can see, it wasn't. It was only like a couple minutes there. Press the OK button, and we'll see. Okay, so this one here, that's what it's done. It's created these different titles here. So that's this LG DVD recorder. Let's see if I can delete the titles on here. I'll have to unfinalize it. So if I stop it and I go back into, by pressing the exit key, disk manager, if I go into finalize, okay, now I can unfinalize. You see, this is the DVD+RW discs. You can finalize and unfinalize them. Then I can go and erase the tracks and reuse the disc. Of course, I could just choose to format it, and that would wipe the whole disc. But by doing this, I want to see what happens if I delete a few of the tracks in the middle. Is it going to free up the space? DVD RAM, it does. And I think even plus RW, if it's in the VR mode, it'll free up the space. But will this one do the same with this one? So let me go back and hit the exit button here. Go to Disk Manager, and where are we here? That's not the one I want. I want to see if I'm able to delete individual titles here. Okay, if I press the menu button, get out of that one, menu. Okay, if I want to try and delete, say I want to delete number 1, I'm going to try and delete track 1 and 3. So I go down to delete. I'm going to delete 1, 3, and delete 1 and 4. I want to see whether it frees up any time, whether I'll be able to get another minute on the disc. I know if I delete number 5, I'll free up space because that was right at the end. But okay, let's just see whether there's any recording time left on here. Exit. If I press the record button, will it record? Disk is full. Okay, so that's you can't on these DVD+RWs. You can't just delete a title and free up the space. That was the big difference. See, I've never tried this on these things. I never used DVD+RW to record stuff. I know with the DVD+RW, if it's recorded in VR mode, you can, and that was the advantage to the +RW. And with DVD RAM, definitely, you could delete. You could have 100 recordings on a disc and delete half of them, each, every other one, and it would combine the time of all the ones you deleted back together. On this one, the only way I'm going to be able to record on this, if I go back into the menu, let's see if I delete Title 2 and Title 3, will that, because they're all together, will that give me any time to record, or do I have to delete all of them? I think I have to delete all of them. So I'll delete Title 2 and I'll delete Title 3. So now I've just got the one title, but it's the back part of the disc. I'm just curious as to whether I'm going to be able to record on this now if I press record. Nope, still can't do it. No, the only way I'm going to be able to record on this is if I delete that last title. Now, had I deleted the titles at the end, if I deleted the last title and left the first 4, I probably would have been able to fill the back half of the disc up. And that's the big difference between the DVD+RW format and the plus RW. And of course, if I want to format this disc, I can go into I think it's got to figure out which one I'm in here. There's 2 different menus. Disc Manager. If I go into Initialize. So let's just format this in VR mode. There's nothing on the disc to be worried about. And I'll do some recordings in the VR mode. We'll do the same thing. I'll make a bunch of recordings in VR mode, whether I'm going to be able to delete some titles in the middle, and that'll free up space that can be reclaimed. We know in video mode it can't. Will VR mode work on the DVD+RW disc? Say, I've never tried this. I've only had these DVD recorders for like over 20 years, and because I've got a couple Panasonic ones as well. And when I used it as a recording device for like time shifting and stuff, I always use DVD RAM. I never used DVD+RW or DVD+RW for anything other than test burns and as a temporary storage when I'm digitizing clients' tapes, for example, when I'm digitizing VHS or 8mm tapes for a client and they don't want a hard copy. They just want it as an MPEG file or an MP4 file. I'll digitize using these machines because they're fast, they're done in real time. I don't have to fiddle fart around with plugging my VCR into my PC and digitizing and worrying about the capture card crashing or storing redonkulous files like from DV, which is like 12 gigs per hour, and then having to go and compress them. I'll just record on DVD+RW discs, take the disc, pop it in the PC, rip it. I've got an MPEG file that I can give to them on a hard drive or on a USB stick. It's fast because I can record a 2-hour tape in 2 hours and it takes about 10 minutes to rip it and it's done. Now I just remembered that LG made Zenith products, and I just so happen that I have a Zenith DVD player going way back, and I've got the remote for it. I wonder if this will control this. Let's see. Push the open close button. Haha. Now obviously this doesn't have a record button on it, but I'm curious. Will the other buttons work? Okay, that's live TV. Play. Looks like it works. How about skip? Skip me ahead 5 minutes. How about scan? Cool. It works. Pause. So that all works. DVD menu. Unbelievable. I've got a remote that works this thing. Excellent. Title. What does title do? That's menu that I was in. Let's get out of menu. And where's my backup return? Okay, that's back to regular TV. If I go title doesn't do anything. Display. Okay, that shows me the display. What I don't know is this thing should have an MTS tuner in it, and it's showing mono. I wonder if there's a way to make that show stereo. I can change the channel by just keying the number in, and see, that should be a stereo one as well. These are MTS modulators I've got. I'm going to try factory resetting this thing now that I can get into the setup and go down here to factory reset. Where are we here? And let's just see whether this thing will go back to oh, look at that. Cable in and cable out. Yes, no kidding. Antenna, yeah. Press the start button to search channels. Let's do that. Let's see if that reset this thing so that the tuner has gone back to MTS, multi-channel TV sound. I have modulators here. There is no more analog broadcast. There's no analog cable either. The only reason why I have analog signals here is because I generate my own analog signals in my media closet. Channel 5, I keep stuff that I've shot playing on there just for testing stuff. Channel 4 is scenery that I've downloaded off of YouTube with music that's playing off of an MP3 player, and I just use that basically for background stuff. I have stuff from Lounge V and other content sources that I, rather than stream it because that just burns up bandwidth, I've downloaded it and I've got it running on a Raspberry Pi with an MP3 player playing music, and I just use it for background music in the house. When I don't care about sound quality, I just want it in stereo. I put the TV on channel 4 and I can just use it as background music, and I've got a picture. So it's like, you know, like moving art, waves crashing in and stuff. And I've got my own stuff on there as well, but my own content is on channel 5 that I use when I'm testing stuff. Channel 7 is the output from my cable box, so whatever I'm watching on, like the main TV shows on channel 7. Channel 9 is my cameras, and channel 12 is, again, it's all concerts that I've downloaded over the years playing off a hard drive, again on a Raspberry Pi, and because it's music, it's all done in stereo. So I've got 2 MTS stereo modulators that I can pick up on analog TVs. And this one's not receiving them in stereo, and that's unfortunate, but maybe after resetting it, it'll go back to stereo. That's the hope anyway. This is good. Doesn't have a record button, so to record on this thing I'd have to press the record button on the unit, but this just gives me another tool in the toolbox, another DVD recorder that I can use for doing conversions, because that's what I use these for, is when I'm doing archiving. I have a bunch of them, so it's always nice to have an extra one. So now it wants me to set the date. This is from 2007. That's when this thing was new. Pretty old. It's 8:15 p.m. There, setup is complete. Let's get out of this. So I hit exit. No, still in mono. Same with 12. 12 is still showing up in mono. And the up and down arrow buttons here, they will change the channel up and down. I can enter the channel number directly with the numeric buttons, but I can also go through the channels one at a time. I'm going to have to figure out what's causing this interference. It might be the plasma interfering with this thing because the top's off of it. That might be where it's coming from, is because the top is off this thing. This plasma has a tendency to interfere with things. Or it could be a loose coax connection. But let's try this disc out and see what I can do with this. This was recorded in VR mode. So if I go into the DVD menu, you'll see that I've got 7 titles recorded on here. The last one was only 22 seconds long. If I go and delete, say I delete title 2 and 3, I wonder if I'm going to gain an extra, what, 8 minutes? Let's see. So I'm going to go into title 2, I'll press OK. I'm going to go down to delete and delete it, and we'll see whether we get any free space here. Oh, so I've gained 11 minutes, so there you go. Even DVD+RW, if it's recorded in the VR mode, which stands for video recording, it will operate just like the DVD RAM disc did. If I go and delete this third title here, I'll gain an extra couple minutes, right? So if I or even the last title. Well, the last one's only 22 seconds long, but if I delete this one, if I go down and say delete, and I should be able to protect titles too. So if I delete this title, I should gain an extra couple minutes. So it's 11 minutes now. It should go to it's gone to 14 minutes. And this end title here, if I delete that last 22 seconds, what's going to happen with this? Is it going to change? It shouldn't, but you never know. So I gained an extra 15 minutes. So now I'm gonna record. I'm gonna record some more stuff and see what this thing does. It should jump around. It should skip over and fill the whole entire disc up. I can also protect titles. So for example, if I want to protect title number 4, if I go up to title 4 and go down to protect, I should be able to lock that one so that I can't actually accidentally delete it. And now you see delete is not available unless I unprotect it. Also, if I want to edit something, I should be able to edit some scenes out of here. So if I go into one of these recordings, and if I go into, say, title 5 and I go down to edit, I should be able to delete a part of it. So I go to number 5. See, I can find my start point. So if I play it and get my start point and end point, and then mark it, and it will delete the remainder. So pick and select, play and select the start point. So if I play it, I'll skip ahead a bit here. And if I pick this as my start point, and now I got to go to my end point. So I'll just fast forward here a bit. Going to go back a bit. I'm going to take 3 minutes here. I'm going to cut it just before that scene, or just when that scene starts. So if I pause it right there. So I'm going to start at 1:30 and end at 3:04. And if I go done, delete selected region. This should take that portion out, and it should free up some time on the disc. And if I play title 5, see, it's now shortened down a bit. If I play title 5, when it gets to that point, it will skip, and I'll go fast forward till I get there, because I know where it is roughly. I'll go back to regular speed here, and at the end of this shot it'll jump to the wide shot, but more than likely it's going to freeze momentarily when it does it. Now on DVD RAM discs there is no pause because of the buffering and the way that DVD RAM discs were written. There, it paused for a second, you see. That's what happens when you edit on DVD+RW. DVD RAM, I've done that lots of times with my Panasonic, and it's so fast you don't even see it. It's like a hard drive. Anyway, that's how this thing works. If I stop this, go back to regular what's coming in off the tuner. If I hit the record button now, I can fill the disc up, and it'll start with this shot. And this is going to fill up those gaps that I put in the disc. We'll see how it handles that, whether it's going to freeze. That's what I want to do. I want to see when it fills up the dead space that I deleted, is there going to be a pause as the laser moves, or is it going to play it smooth? We'll find out. Okay, once again the disc is full. I'm going to play that last track. I want to see what happens when it when it encounters the parts that were cut out. So let's watch it here and see if it does freeze when when the optical pickup has to move to another section of disc. Some of the other features that this has, a zoom button on here, and the zoom button, of course, does that. You can go in ×2 and you can actually even move around the screen, or I can go ×4 by zooming in again. Now I can really make the picture look bad. Kind of blurry there, but that's to be expected with standard definition. So far I haven't seen it freeze or pause while I've been watching this track. Should be coming up right now. I think it was around 6 minutes was the first video I deleted. So it should be coming up right now, somewhere in here, to a point where the pickup has to jump to a different place on the disc. Now I noticed that when I deleted a portion of an existing video that it did momentarily pause, but again, that was a clip out of an existing video that was being jumped over, a sector of an existing video that was being jumped over. Now that that disk space was cleared and rewritten, it may not do the same. I haven't seen it do it yet, and I'm now well past the point where it should have, because I'm over 7 minutes in. I deleted 3 different segments and there was only about 11 minutes of space remaining for the 3 segments I deleted. So it should have, by this point, moved to a different portion of the disc to continue recording, but it seems like it's buffering it perfectly. One thing for sure, water does not compress all that well. Now this video that is playing is an HD video. It's being output from a Raspberry Pi. Actually, no, this is being output by a media player. This is not a Raspberry Pi. This is actually a standalone media player. But this video was shot in 4K and it was rendered out at, this is actually a 720, 1280 by 720 file that's playing at a relatively high bit rate. And it plays out really good quality. So the artifacting you see on here is not artifacting caused by, oh, there's a whale. It's not artifacting being caused by the media player. The artifacting you see there in the water, that's actually the DVD compression. Water is very hard to compress. I had shots of some whales and some sharks when I was filming this. There she blows. Uh-oh. I think YouTube might be taking my video down because I just said she and blows in the same sentence. Something I did notice on this unit, which is very unusual, it is DVD only. It will not play CDs. It will not play pressed, like store-bought audio CDs. It will not play audio CDs burned on CDR, and it will not play MP3 discs burned or tracks burned onto CDR. It's DVD only. I've tried all kinds of different discs and it will only play DVDs. Anyway, it's a nice little DVD recorder, nice and small, basic function, and this is one that I won't be parting with this one anytime soon. It's going to form part of my collection of DVD recorders. I've got a few. I have 4 Toshiba, one with a VCR built-in, recorder with a VCR. I have 2 DR430s and another one, I forget the model number of it, but it's a little bit older, with a tuner and everything in it. I have one with a tuner and 2 non-tuner versions, and then the combo. So that's 4 Toshiba. I have 2 Panasonic DMR E20s, a DMR EH50 with the hard drive built in, this LG, And I have a Sony, forget the model number, but it's got the 250 gig hard drive and records on dual layer discs. So I have, nine DVD recorders. I think I have enough. See, that's a shark this time. Now we have sharks in the water. So I think I have enough DVD recorders to... oh, and a light on. I forgot about the light on. So 10 DVD recorders. The light ons got some issues. The light ons were not very good to begin with. They were picky as to what discs they would write to properly. It could do CDs as well. It could do audio CDs, which was the strength of the light on. But they were picky on the brand of discs that you would use in them. And if you didn't use one of the recommended brands of disc, well, it just might not finalize at the end when you're done, and then you've created a coaster. But yeah, I have a few DVD recorders, that's for sure. And I use 3 of them constantly for archiving, and then the other ones are just kind of spares. Anyway, as you can see, this thing, there's no pausing, there's no freezing or anything as the laser moves. It's pretty flawless. I'm going to wrap this up now because there's not much else I can show you on this thing. So we'll catch you in the next one real soon. Bye for now.